Oh, mate, you let me know.
Hi, I'm Steve from Gamers Beat Cancer, and welcome to another Cancer Chronicles. I'm joined today by Mike Nolan, who is an AML survivor, currently been in remission now for about 6 years. Joined me on the show today to talk about his sort of love of gaming and even love of wrestling as well. So, first of all, hi, Mike. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Steve. Pleasure to be here, bud.
Yeah, so probably the best question to start with is what's your sort of earliest childhood memory then of gaming?
When I was probably a teenager, I think I used to go. The old Commodore 64 was my first ever one that I had from my dad.
The
And
go-to
it's still
machine,
up in the loft, mate. Still up in the loft in the box.
you need to get that dusted out and get it down.
Yeah, it's,
So what? So go on. What type of games are your favorites? More the driving or the
uh,
or the sort
back
of
then they were more
platformers?
the sort of like the football manager ones. My dad used to help me play, and I used to play Beachhead. Used to be my old favourite.
Yeah, Beachhead. Yeah, I remember Beachhead on it. Yeah, that's true. So, did you stick with gaming for a while then after your childhood? Did you sort of drift off away from gaming?
I drifted off a little bit. I got into cars, which
Hmm.
was crazy. Probably a expensive hobby, to be honest. And then I sort of got back into my gaming again when sort of got back with old school friends again. We used to we just rekindled and it all sort of started again. And then obviously the sea arrived, which changed life again. But all good, all
Oh
good.
yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, yeah. So, did you spend much time in the arcades growing up at all? Any arcade favorites?
Oh wow. Unfortunately for me, there's only one in the UK. The arcade I used to always go to was
Hmm.
down in I think it was down Bournemouth. I remember, and it was Pacman was the game for me.
Pacman was the go-to
I could
weapon.
spend hours on that, mate. Everybody saves their pocket money. Mine was fill the car up,
Hmm.
get down there, Pacman for a weekend. That was it. Crazy.
So, as I explained before, you're actually AML survivor. So, how did you notice that you had AML? Because obviously, I have AML myself, as you know, and it's quite a difficult disease to detect. So, what were sort of the early warning signs, or how did they pick up on it?
To be honest with you, mine was quite a shock. You'll be quite shocked a little bit, really. I mean,
Hmm.
there was no signs at all. The only
Mm.
reason it was found, was to be fair, was I was on my way to work and I had a blowout.
Right.
Oh, okay. So I better get the guys to get me a lift in. They got me a lift in.
Mm.
Got the car sorted out, driving home, and I got hit by a car on the way home on the same day,
Hmm.
and just didn't feel right the next day. I thought, oh, it was concussion, and
Hmm.
that stuff. Went for a blood test, and they told me that my cancer was back, and it was AML this time. And I
Right.
was
So
just
that's your second cancer, isn't it? AML. So what was your first cancer then?
the first double battle was non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Right, which developed obviously because I'm guessing because of the mutation into AML from non-Hodgkin's. So, how old were you then when you were first diagnosed with non-Hodgkinson's?
27 was
That's rough.
it was
How was that? How was that detected? Did they know?
that was I was playing football on Sunday regular with the lads. So I used to be a
Hmm.
goalkeeper, so I always throw myself about, and then
Hmm.
just went in for typical goalkeeper challenge with a centre forward, hit me in the ribs, and I thought, oh, that hurts.
Mm.
Just started wheezing. I thought, like the rib, nothing new.
Hmm.
Let it go on for a while. I went to doctors and had a scan because they thought, better check these ribs out. I remember seeing her face because she sort of like looked at me, then looked at the picture, then looked back at me, and I thought, that ain't.
Mm.
Because normally it would have said, break a
Hmm.
rib, nothing to do. And she shot off into another room to make a phone call, and I just had a feeling. And all of a sudden, they found this black shadow, and there was
Mm.
no rib patterns at all. It was just a great big black shadow
Hmm.
in the hole from my chest all the way down to my stomach.
Right.
It was I just my memory then just you think of that,
You just, yeah.
yeah, shut off, and you go into mode, don't you? Safe
Well, you
mode.
do. You do. You simply no choice with it at all. So, I mean, obviously, AML is a strange one, as you know, and I know extremely well. So, did they actually say how the non-Hodgkin's lymphoma came around? Did they say it was genetic? Was it something that you'd done?
Now because they called it old man's cancer to
Yeah.
me back then. They said I shouldn't have had anything like that till I was at least 40 or 50, and I was like, okay, so what, where, how, why?
Hmm.
They couldn't.
Yeah,
it
you see,
didn't say anything.
yeah,
So
you see for myself, they said to me it was genetic.
okay.
In other words, I was just gonna whatever I'd done, whatever lifestyle I'd led, I'd have still ended up here, with AML. So it's kind of it's a very strange one. So let's get around to another part of the conversation. Wrestling. Do you play many Do you play many wrestling video games?
Not recently, but before I had the AML, I was playing. I'm trying to think. Sure, it was like you'd pick the rumble effect where they all join in. You pick one, you just dive in a ring. But I think it was only a specialist. It wasn't like a proper wrestling game. It was like an event game.
Right. So
It's quite blurry, to be honest.
have you been tempted to sort of get the WKEs and stuff like that?
It's affordability, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, I suppose it is really.
I mean, in a dream world, I'd jump on a plane when
And
it's
go,
all.
and go and see it, yeah.
WrestleMania, and I'd just be like tongue hanging out. What am I doing here? Dream.
So how did you get into the wrestling thing? How did that come about?
It was a mate. Because we played at our local pub pool team and that, and I just noticed he was what's on that T-shirt you had? And it had like the Undertaker on it. I thought, oh, I remember him when I was younger.
Yeah.
Oh, he said, oh, he's coming over to the UK, and I went, what, the Undertaker? He went, yeah. I went, okay. I said, well, after the pool match, we'll have a chat about it, and it blew up from there, buddy. It was just going to, dreaming out of meeting like your wrestlers, and you see them on the TV, you think, oh, wow,
So are you more a classic wrestler, or do you like the new ones as well?
I'd probably say I'm edging towards the newer ones now, but I still have a soft spot for the Undertaker. He's my one of my old soft spots, because he was like when I was sort of like the late teens, if you know what I mean. When I got into the cars, he was the one that everybody had to wear.
So out of all these hobbies, what would you say sort of has helped you sort of keep your sanity, obviously getting cancer, then living with cancer? I mean, is it something that sort of you're focused on, like sort of this is work for me type of thing?
I still deep down, obviously my gaming, because it's part of what I used to love doing, and I still have a dabble. I won't lie, I still have a dabble. But I've got to obviously the wrestling and collecting the Funko Pops and my other little thing. But the gaming, I still play Transformers on my game on my old. If I can get the Commodore down, when I can get it down. I've now just remembered the Kima brain just kicked in. I've actually got a Transformers game on there.
Quality. There you go.
I had all the sound effects and everything. So when you watch the new film, we're trying to bring the sound effects in. Hence why I'm wearing me Transformers t-shirt, because OP was my greatest ever Transformer, and I managed to meet him as well last year.
Right.
That was mate. I met him in Megatron.
Did you ever play the Knight Rider game that came out on the Commodore 64?
I'm sure I did. But I kept.
It was a bit naff.
It wasn't as good as you watch the TV program. Oh yeah, I want to do that. Even the turbo boost, from what I remember, wasn't the greatest effect.
I think another one as well that came out was on the Mastertronic collection, a game called Chiller, which was meant to be like a Mickey Taker thriller, wasn't it?
I remember that. I do remember that. Yeah.
Chiller, yeah, because Mastertronic did a whole range. They even did. I think they even did a Clumsy Colin game, didn't they, as well, from KP Skips?
Oh, you're bringing them all back now. I can remember that one.
Yeah, Operation Wolf. Frankie Goes to Hollywood was another one.
Yeah, I couldn't get the grips with some of them. I don't know. I just couldn't get the grips with them, if I'm being honest.
I mean, the great thing about the Commodore 64 though was all the licensing that they did for all the video games back in the day with OSHA. I mean, you used to get so many; it was just absolutely crazy. You got RoboCop and you got Batman.
Yeah,
because they had all the licenses for the movies.
Yeah, they actually did them. The gun. Oh yeah,
but they did them justice as well, which was great. You know what I mean? It was just they were just really good games, and the 64 was probably, I suppose, the one machine that obviously I aspired to get into once I got dumped with a Commodore Plus/4, which I thought at the time was going to be brilliant. And then someone saw me at 64 and I was like, major gutted.
I mean, someone said to me about, was it the Commodore
128?
I didn't.
That was a rare breed.
I didn't like it, but my mate had one when I had the 64.
I
would alternate to play ears, go around ears. I couldn't get the grips with it. I just thought, nah, come around here, play the 64. It's more fun, sort of thing.
Yeah, and
Just
obviously,
play better.
and I think it was with a stunt race driver. We used to go up and down like a roller coaster, jumping on a stunt with a stunt car, and Kickstart was another one that they did.
Oh God, yeah.
There was a lot of big games for the 64. I think the 64 obviously outsold VIC-20 and Commodore 16 by miles, but then the Amiga came, and that was like the new boy in the block, and everybody was sort of like, everybody jumped up to sort of 16-bit then. Did you ever dabble with consoles at all in your gaming experience?
I think if I remember rightly, me and Dad got a Nintendo rings back. Oh no, it was a two-screen. Was it the two-screen little Game Boy Nintendo? Was it?
Nintendo DS?
Yeah, I think it was like a Donkey Kong. It was an old school one.
Oh, you mean the Game and Watch games?
Yeah,
they were called Game and Watch. There were LCD graphics. The graphics were black. Yeah,
jump to the bottom and go to the top, and I had that for years.
Yeah, they did all sorts. They did Pacman was another one.
I couldn't get it. That's what I was doing. So I had to switch back to Donkey Kong. And I've been to Bournemouth recently, and they've got rid of the Pacman machine, mate. I'm gutted.
Oh no, it's just no good.
Gutted. But they have replaced it with Transformers, so not a bad swap. I'll let them off. Personally, I prefer to rather go the old Pacman though.
Well, that's very, very true. Now, I believe your partner, she's got kids and they play on consoles. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, they're all of them. Talking about it now, they're all literally all on their Switches now, having a joint game of something. So,
does Mike get a look in it on the Switch?
No, I leave them to it. I'll leave them to the Switch. To be fair, when they do that, I'll put the rest in on the TV or something, or I'll watch Transformers. I've got them all lined up on the TV ready to watch.
So this sort of thing to do with gaming and mental health, obviously, and cancer. Do you think yourself as a cancer survivor, it's helped you?
It did, because I remember when I had I think it was a cross between the second battle and when I was recovering. Dad bought me was it the PS2, the Slimline, or was it a PS3? A Slimline version they did.
There's a PS2 Slimline and there's also a PS3 Slimline, but yeah.
Oh, I can't remember. I just remember the two games. I remember them bringing it in, hooking it up to the TV in the hospital, and I'm like, what's that? You're not allowed that here. And I went, we've asked. I went, okay. And the two games that helped me through it was Ratchet and Clank, which I used to play with my dad.
That's PS3 then.
Yeah, okay. I know it was like I said, my chemo brain's embarrassing.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, Ratchet and Clank and Duke Nukem.
Yep. And I have them both. I have them both in this big collection right behind me that's still growing.
Oh, mate. Some of the sayings Duke Nukem used to say, come get some.
That was the one, yeah. Duke Nukem, which was extremely cheesy, extremely violent, and very sexist towards women, I'm afraid. Some parts, but I think that was just the drive of it all. I mean, I think one of my earliest memories of gaming is sort of, well, I mean, what games that stood out were games like Doom for me, and watching the news and hearing about this game called Grand Theft Auto that everybody was screaming about.
Of course, yeah.
Saying how it should be banned and how you can go and drag people out of cars and murder them in the road. And she's like, I want some of that.
So, what are they on now? About Grand Theft Auto 6 now or something?
5. We're on 5 now. Yeah, we're on 5 now.
They were good. I got to be honest. You have a time limit when you to go around, and I don't know, just like trying to see how many people I can take out in the car. To be honest, it was more fun, like you say.
It is
really
just robbing people randomly with the cars in the roadside. Just give me a car. Bye.
100 points through a granny. Oh dear.
Well, I know, but the thing is, I mean, obviously, as you know, violence has always been blamed on video games, and I don't think video games make people violent. I think just people are inherently violent. And the fact is, obviously, as you know, with Games Beat Cancer, we're all about a positive message of video gaming, saying doesn't matter what you play, it's still, it still helps. And obviously, video games have been demonized by lots of right-wing people, I'm afraid. So it's about time video game industry got a little bit of a helping hand, and that's why we started Games Beat Cancer, of course. So now obviously you've been in remission now how long? 6-7 years?
Yes, not far off 6, I think it is, yeah.
So what do you think the future holds for you then?
Future. Same as normal, mate. Positive outlook. with one day at a time. Started getting the bucket lists. I made one back a few years
We don't
ago.
call them bucket lists, we call them living lists.
Living list. Ah, there you go. I'm still back in the old school, so.
We call them the living list now. It knows everything you want to do whilst you're alive still.
All right, I'm gonna re-edit mine now. Then. The living list. I like that.
Yes, it doesn't sound as permanent to us, does it?
I like that. Yeah, I do.
Call it the living list. You know, it's stuff that you want to do. I mean, so go on. What's on your living list then? Can you sort of give us a little hint?
The dream living list, the dream one.
Is one to do Hell in a Cell at all with Triple H?
It probably end up being Meet the Undertaker now. The coffin match. Was it what was his coffin one? I can't remember. He'd bury you in a coffin. I remember the one of the fights he did in the ring, and he would literally, you'd have a fight to death, and he'd put you in a coffin, and that bit you get sent away.
Always pallbearer.
I think that's it. Yeah. Because I've met the UK version of the Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm friends with him, and when I went to meet him at one of the wrestling events, the worst thing was I was obviously just in remission, just finished some treatment. My girlfriend was with me, and he's got the stand there, and he says, "Right, I'm going to put you in the coffin." And my girlfriend looked at me, I looked at her, and I just went white, apparently. He literally put me in the coffin, and I tell you, mate, I had a flash. It was bizarre. And he looked at me and he went, "You're right." I went, "Not really." Now, when my girlfriend, as you know, Cara, he told her, he just gave me a big hug, gave me the wrestling belt, and we just did the that was it. It was, we've been friends ever since, to be fair.
Anywhere you want to go and see it all on your living list?
Vegas is Vegas, the Hoover Dam, and Niagara Falls are my three bigs. And the best thing is, obviously, the Hoover Dam is that scene in the Transformers. It all goes back to Transformers for me.
Sector 7.
So I want to drive in the dream. I want to drive my yellow Commodore Bumblebee, or my Optimus Prime, Peterbilt truck, and I want to just drive one of them, just to take a picture in front of the Hoover Dam. That's my deep down living list dream. So I've already driven a Commodore around a racetrack, and that was one of my other living lists. That was about number 6, I think. So I'm working my way there. It'll happen. I'm determined.
Yeah, I think with AML though, any type of cancer, and I know, it's literally like being on borrowed time, isn't it, for us all? And it's sort of, how can I put it? Whatever happens, sometimes you've got to work with the attitude of, well, most people can go out the door the next day and be hit by a bus. As awful as it sounds, but that is a sad reality. I just think for us, I think we're just a little bit more mindful of the time that we have and making it count and making it important, really, anything. So yeah. On that note, Mike, thanks very much for joining us today on the Cancer Chronicles and sort of sharing your experiences.
Anytime, buddy. Anytime. Glad to do it again. Just let me know if you need it.
Anytime.